Yes, so it was great. I was talking to Alexis yesterday, standing at my desk. Alexis is like, I've talked to dozens of agents this week, and the big themes that we are hearing broadly are, right, buyers are waiting, right? Sellers are overpricing their house and then squeezing on agents to go do more. And three is that agents are spending time manually to update things. And so if any of those things sound like you, is we have new toys for you today that you can immediately use at the end of this presentation, and we'll show you how.
New toys?
New toys. You know I love new toys of how fast everything is moving. But again, the big theme is right, should we be waiting? So again, we're going to start off in the beginning because you know we love data. Start off in the beginning, we say is what are your clients hearing in the news? And so big one, Iran, right? Paige, like what's going on with Iran?
Well, currently at the moment, we are having a blockade in the strait, somewhat of a ceasefire, but the answer is no one knows what's going on in the
Yeah.
region.
Yeah. And kind of a headline message is it is costing the average American about $200 more a month for gas prices and the impact that higher gas prices are having, right? $200 a month. Again, it matters.
It absolutely matters. And the challenge we have with this conflict is that even if it ends tomorrow, which we would all love to see that happen, prices at the pump will not go down until 3 to 4 weeks after. So the trickle down effect is if it stops tomorrow, we're not seeing lower prices at the pump till Memorial Day. And what's the likelihood that we're actually going to wrap it up by tomorrow?
Yeah,
So
and
it's an issue.
and this number two is a huge one, and this is where you see it show up. So out of the economy, 70% of the economy is consumer spending. And of the consumer spending, 70% of the growth of that economy is consumer confidence. So, right, makes sense. Consumers spend money. If they feel confident, they spend. If they don't feel confident, they don't. So consumer confidence just reached a record low, right? Remember, we
Ooh.
set one of these a few months ago, but it reached a record low because people are worried. And
Mhm.
so again, part of it is right, war and conflict. Part of the stuff is politics, but part of the new one is right, will AI take my job? And
Right.
right, two stories on this.
Mhm.
So Paige and I live in the Heights. I love Waymo. I'm obsessed by Waymo. I can sit in the back seat.
And
I,
obsessed is not even the word. I mean, if there's a bigger word than obsessed, he would use it. It's just probably profane.
It is amazing. New Jaguars, back seat, don't have to talk to everybody. It's clean, it's easy. My problem is it's only for sections of the inner loop. So this week, again, because I'm so obsessed, because I don't like to drive, is we bought a new Tesla. So we got rid of the car where we had to drive. We have a new Tesla. And so what I love is that now 93% of the time, anywhere we go, I don't have to drive. And so
Because
when
the
you look
car
at,
does it for you.
because the car just drives for me in the rain and it's phenomenal. But if you are one of the 3 to 5 million Americans where your primary job is a driver, right? You have, about 1 million, 2 million Uber drivers. You've got about 300,000 taxi drivers, right? Is it likely AI is going to take your job? Absolutely, right? Because now you have proven that you can drive autonomously. And so you're like, that's scary.
That's
But
very,
here's a bigger one. Like, Paige, have you heard about what Meta announced this week?
yeah, you told me, and that's also very scary.
It's incredible. So Meta, 50,000 people, again, not as many in Houston, but 50,000 people. They announced two things. One, we are going to put a keyword logger on your computer to track every mouse movement and everything you type. And in doing that, we are going to then figure out how to train the AI. You can't opt out. And so before we do that, we already fired 10% of the staff and we said we're going to close another 6,000 jobs. So, right, 14,000 jobs gone. And then what are the odds of the 50,000 people that all 50,000 are one, like actually doing something? Because, right, AI is going to figure that out. And then two, what are the odds that some of those jobs will go away?
It's,
Like
yeah, big one,
really high.
because it'll train the AI. And two, it will reveal those of us who are just shopping on Amazon instead of actually doing our job remotely like we're supposed to. So it is a real challenge, which is what plays into consumer confidence. And where you're seeing that largely is in the upper middle class, because those are the folks who are highly college educated, and are at risk, largely in middle management, at the biggest risk of this trend taking over. So that certainly is playing into what we're seeing. Less so here in Houston, because we're going to share some good news. So it's not
Yes.
all gloom. It's not all we didn't start the fire, gloom and doom.
But here's a big thing again, back to why buyers are waiting. So here's the last one, also came out this week. So, right, this is a huge math issue. Like, just think about how you get this wrong out of 90 days. So, NAR put out their 2026 forecast. 2026 forecast, a couple 4 months ago, said, yay, we're going to grow by 14%. Now, right, 90-ish days later, 120 days later, they said, oh, just kidding. We're off. It's 4%. We just got rid of the one. And so,
Well,
right, it creates some concern.
Well, because they didn't factor in, no one saw the war coming, so they didn't factor that in. So that's a big piece. And they did not factor in a softer job growth market, which is what we have experienced.
And this is one of the big data points for your sellers. We're going to give you a cheat sheet on this in a minute, but it is one of the biggest gaps in where most realtors have been in business, because there are more sellers than buyers. And that has not happened since approximately the Great Recession. So that is a huge data point for your sellers. And again, here's your big but. Here's your but on what the headlines aren't reaching. One, if you look at the last couple years, right, since especially 2023, 24, affordability has actually improved.
That's great news, guys, in a big, big way.
And because again, negotiations, closing cost credits, and interest rates, like great. Number two, you have pockets of strength. It's not all the same. And so where pockets of strength lie is cash buyers, because they don't care about rates. And two, it's typically you're wealthy, because right, stock market has continued to do very, very, very well. And number three is pricing matters. And you will hear this from us again, and you will hear this in the AI prompts we give you for your clients. Pricing matters so much more now than at any point within the last 9 years.
Yeah,
Because
and I want to talk about that because I was having a conversation yesterday at our rent event, and what sellers will typically do when they don't emotionally want to drop the price, they lean on you and say, well, you're not doing your job. The offer that you got me wasn't high enough. Oh, wait, we don't have any showings. That's your fault. Oh, wait, we don't have enough people coming through the open house. I need you to do an open house 17 days a week. And you're like, really? And the issue is always price. They don't want to hear that, but it is when they are pressing on you to do more of your job, either one, you're not doing your job, and that's unlikely because I know that you guys are great agents. What it means is we've got to communicate and have that hard conversation in a loving manner so that they can understand you holding more open houses is not the answer.
that's exactly right. You're going to hear that from us a couple times, and the AI tool we're going to give you specifically allows you to demonstrate that for each and every client. Again, Houston, better than the nation, right? This is good. This is a great place to live. Oil prices do help Houston, right? They're good for Houston jobs because energy is still about a third to 40% of the total amount of money coming in.
They're not good for you at the pump, but they are good for the economy.
The big two numbers out of this are one, people are moving to Houston, right? Our population is still growing, right? That's a big deal. Over 120,000 people up from the last recorded census over a 1 year period. And two, we're still getting jobs. Big growth in jobs are building out construction and also professional services. Those are your big numbers.
Yep. And that's really been our saving grace here in Houston to keep us stable. Without those factors, we would be having a real trouble.
Yes. And especially when you look at parts and pockets that are both wealthy and growing. And so when you look at Houston data, right, our months of supply, right, is right. If no new homes came on the market, how long would it take to sell everything out that's on the market? It's up 4.7 months. And so this again is balanced-ish, but favoring the buy side. But when you look at the data, right, there is over a 3% growth rate from last year. So people are still transacting.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
that is a big deal. Pendings are up. That's also good. But the rate of fallout of contracts is also up. So again, you're watching pendings. It used to be pending went to close nearly all the time. Now it's not so much, but pendings are still a good indicator.
They are,
Uh,
but my guess is folks on this call have seen that where things that normally would stick, they're falling out for a variety of reasons. Some financing, some you didn't give me seller, you didn't give me enough concession in the option period, and so I'm going to walk away. Those that trend is probably going to continue until the market settles down.
And a big one, and this again is very, very important for affordability, and it's important for your sellers, is median prices have fallen. That is a big deal. Is again, for most of the time that most agents have been on this call, prices have never fallen. On a year-over-year basis, median prices have fallen about 1.5%.
So not a lot. We're not like lemmings running off the cliff, Bob, right? I mean, this is it's a slow decline that actually has to happen for the market to even back out. This is a natural progression.
Because affordability, it's been very hard for people most people to afford homes given rises in insurance, rises in interest, rises in house costs. And so
Rises in
this, again,
taxes.
it's not a crash,
Right,
unlikely to be a crash, but again, there's an evening and a slight dip in that.
right.
And of course, listings are up a lot, again, about 9% year over year.
Mhm.
Okay, so when you look at that, again, back to the main theme, right? This is hopefully your biggest takeaway from today is right, homes that are priced right sell. Cool. Two, when you look at that, again, it's not a bad market or a good market. There are pockets that are good, and if you are priced correctly, then you are successful. If you are not priced correctly or you are in one of the pockets that is getting squeezed, it is very, very, very difficult.
Yeah, and I think your last line on the slide, Bob, is spot on. Is the gap is not between buyers and sellers; it's between the asking price and the reality of where the market is. That's the gap.
Oh, and we're getting one step closer to give you the tool that allows you to do that every week. So
Oh,
again, that's the big
hurry,
thing that we do.
hurry! You're like you're teasing us along. We're ready.
Okay, again, a few other things just to know, because again, this is going to be in your tool, but we want you to have this knowledge so the tool just doesn't do all the work. It's right, it's a little bit of homework. Again, right, pending sales are up, great, but again, big one is concessions are back in a really big way. And again, that comes in closing cost, it comes in rate buy downs, it comes in repair allowances, it comes right just because in terms of changing the price. Tell your sellers to price correctly from the get-go, and then they will avoid some of the slow bleed.
Yeah, and I want to double down on that where it says pending sales are up. Um, if you have a listing that's been on the market for a couple of months and you're not in the pending category, you need to be having price conversations in a very strategic manner with your sellers because what's going to happen here is this is no longer the spring, right? We're in May next month, which is essentially the end of the world as we know it, because that's when temperatures start at 90 degrees. And so, yes, people buy houses in May, June, July, but the spring market is essentially closed. So, getting your sellers into a realm of pricing that is realistic is critical if you're going to help them meet their goals.
Yes, that again is the big overarching theme of honest, transparent conversations based on data with your clients to help them make wise
In
decisions.
a loving manner.
Okay, so again, here's where we get again a little step closer. So, right, the honest conversations that your sellers need, right? 67 days average on market, right? Well-priced homes move about 23 days, and that gap is widening. So, right, if you're just sitting, you're sitting for longer. If you're priced well, you're moving. That is a big, big, big data point.
Mhm.
Number two, competition's up, right? Active inventory is up about 9%. Price reduction's up about 16%. Big deal. As Paige said, that cost of waiting, right? Oh, I'll wait for spring. Hey, you kind of missed some of the window.
Yep, it's behind us.
And so you're looking to have the honest conversations. And of course, again, I know you're like, how? What do I tell them? What do I do? Again, we're two slides to go and then we do it. Okay, action plan. This is the what. We're going to show you the how in a second. Right? On this page, David will send it out to everybody. It'll be linked at the bottom of the YouTube. We have given you a new conversation toolkit, aka AI, tell me exactly what to say. AI,
Or at
tell
least
me
give me some
exactly what to
ideas
say.
and help me guide me.
Yes. And we will allow you to fill in the data for your client's details. And we're going to go through that in just a second. And again, your big activity is the agents who are winning in the spring. One, they are doing the work. Number two, they have a system so they can do the work every day. And three, they are leveraging their time with AI so they can do what AI can't, which
Mhm.
is specifically have relationships with other human beings.
And working to be in front of people, right? For agents who just sort of sit on the sideline and say, I'll wait for the phone to ring or I'll wait for the market to be better. We're 4 years into we're waiting for it to be better. Historically, when you looked at the Great Recession from 2008 to 2011, those were slower years. And on the fifth year, we bounced back. We are in the fifth year right now of a downward cycle. And what NAR just said is we're downgrading our forecast.
By a
So
lot.
so
By a lot.
this could be a fifth year to what should be a 4 year cycle, right? So please don't just wait. You have to put yourself in the position to meet and be where the clients are.
Yes. Okay, ready for the toys?
Yes,
Okay.
toys.
So this page with the full presentation, David's going to send you the link of what it is. You've got the market update. You kind of have the talking points, which is great. But here's where it gets exciting. Again, Lexus's Conversations, dozens of agents. You're like, give me a toolkit of exactly what to say. So you have tools for sellers and buyers. And so the tools that you have, and we'll go through one in a second, the tools that you have is, hey, how do I start a conversation with a prospective seller? They haven't told me they're going to sell. They basically have a two-bedroom house and they have three new kids. They have no backyard and they have a dog. And they're like, you know, they're going to move. They know they're going to move, but they're like, I don't know, right? How do I start the conversation?
Mhm.
Number two, conversation toolkit for, hey, my listing is sitting, right? What do I do? What do I tell them? Again, on any of these, when you click it, it gives you the exact prompt. For clients, you're like, I got a meeting in 15 minutes. Like, what do I say? Like, I need to know exactly what to say with these people, right? You get a prompt. And then the one that we will go through, which is I go do things every week for a seller. My
Mhm.
seller says I don't do enough. I know they're overpriced. And as Paige said, the 17th open house is not going to make a difference. So what do I say and what do I do and what do I give them? And that's what we're going to go through.
Mhm.
On the buy side, right, similar toolkit, right? How do I start a conversation with somebody who's like, I just don't know. I think I need to move. I'm commuting now an hour to work because my work moved, right? How do you start it? Two, you've got somebody that's a buyer, but then they've gone quiet, or they're waiting for rates to drop, or they're waiting for a better market, or they're waiting for the lottery.
Right. They're tendering, right? They're waiting for the better
They're
house because there
waiting.
might be a better house tomorrow.
Yeah, harp horn. Also, client right before a meeting, what do I say? Or your other one is you're like, I have a buyer meeting and I need a buyer presentation. Make it for me. And so those are your four on the buy side, four on
Make
the
it
sell side.
funny. That's exciting.
Good. So we're going to go through one of them today. We're also going to give you where we're going to be over the next couple weeks if you want help on what that looks like. But the one today from popular demand, thank you, Alexis, is tell me exactly what to do with my clients. And so where it starts is it asks you to paste in your HAR listing. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. You'll see a little bit more of the screen. We're just going to take one of our listings that's been sitting a little bit longer than average, and you're just going to paste in your HAR link. And so when you paste in the HAR link, it updates your prompt. You click copy prompt. Pretty easy. Right? It's right,
Okay.
pretty easy so far. Then, again, for those of you that have not been playing with different AI tools, one of the ones that we have been enjoying is Gamma. It's been around for a little while, and there's a number of other ones that will make different resources and tools and presentations for you. But Gamma is a pretty interesting one that makes it easy for you to paste in text. Right? Again, all we did is we put that in. You can go through and modify it, right? How many actual listings you had, right? What you've done on Facebook, how many showings. These are all in brackets. You can
Yeah.
change them.
Do please read the brackets because that's some of the information that is specific to
Your
this
house
property,
and what
right?
you've done this week.
Right. And so the bracket stuff is for you to fill out. Don't just copy and paste and not change the brackets.
Yes, I'm going to show you what happens when you don't change the brackets. But again, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an example to make it as easy as possible. And that's our goal is we want to give you AI tools that take the best of the data and save you time.
Mhm.
And the other thing you'll notice that fills in is all the data that Paige and I just went through, right? What are buyers hearing? Like what's the local market? It grabs and pulls all the latest data that's out there and it says, oh my gosh, this is great. Homes priced correctly are selling. And then it says, we are not here to tell people what to do.
That's exactly right.
You are here to help educate. And so
Mhm.
again, we want to give options. We don't want to say you're an idiot and you've overpriced the house.
That's exactly right. Nobody responds well to that feedback.
And so when you look at that, your activity is you're like, I want to go and I want to generate a presentation, again in Gamma, and I want it to build a set of slides for me that I am able to present. And so again, when you get here, this is again Gamma. If you need a link to that, we'll include it at the bottom. It's good. Whether you want it concise, whether you want it detailed, it tells you how to write it for it, does it, which is pretty cool. And then it says, pick some visuals. You can go through and do it. You can pick the length right down here, and then you just click the generate button. And so again, this is the thing that's newer, kind of in the last 6 months or so, where in this case, you will watch the AI work on your behalf of what you've done. It's pretty cool,
And
right?
you're
You're
not even touching it. This is like
not
you sitting in your
in the
Tesla that's
Waymo. Yeah,
self-driving.
that's exactly right. And again, this was the data you put in the prompt. And it shows, right? Okay, here's the data, here's the stuff. Notice again is right, you're given a deck, it's building it. And so you're like, okay, well, this is cool. I give a national news, right? What's going on? Oh my gosh, what are buyers reading? Okay, well, this is good. What's going on with Houston, right? Hopefully this is making sense now of why we went through the things that we did. It pulls the data live from our site. And so you're like, it has all that information. It talks about price reductions. It talks about the bright spots. So you're not just Debbie Downer. And notice again, hands off the wheel, right? This is Waymo. Again, in this case, if you customized it, like you can bring in how the home compares.
This is so much fun to watch.
It's fun because again, this is what the AI should be doing for you,
Oh,
right?
and I love this. Here are your three options,
Your three
right?
options.
Because that's your best way towards something is give people options, and then they can choose how to make their right, wise decision.
Yes. And again, when you go in and you're like, Mr. Seller, you're an idiot, you're overpriced, they don't like it. When they say, here's the data, let me go through, right? You're in control. And so again, this is just from the prompt off the website. Again, we'll have it at the bottom. David will send it out to you. Is you just take the prompt that we've developed, put it in, use a tool like Gamma, Notebook LM, and watch what it does for you. And so then in this situation, I hadn't gone through and uploaded the image of the house. This is a different house. So I downloaded this a second earlier. And then if you're like, I want to change the image, drag and drop, bang,
So you
customize.
will. So what I'm hearing, Bob, is it gives you a very great, fantastic template that we, as the drivers of the car, still need to double check and look and say, is this reasonable? Because sometimes there are things that don't make sense, like that first picture.
It is. And again, what we tried to do for you, again, this is the site that's here, is we've given you what we think is a very good prompt. And again, that's the prompt that we find will save you a lot of time and immediately allow you to add your HAR link. Again, you have to fill in some level of the data. But when you do that, right, then you just go through and you, as the reasonable human being, are like, oh, okay, got it. I'll update the picture. You could have uploaded it before, but I do it afterwards. You go through and you're like, you know what, this was wrong. This was 5,400 views. And didn't have six, we had 10 people through the open house.
And you're just literally editing within the blocks that they've created.
Exactly. Yep. No, we actually had 7 showings. Good. New second showing just came back. This is great.
Yay, good, great.
Really good. And then you click present, and then you've got a presentation for your client immediately,
That's
right?
incredible.
To
And that
better,
took us, we've been doing this for what, maybe 8 minutes?
yeah. And that again, that's the goal. What we also want you to do on this, again, is this is the process of using AI tools and making it simple, is when you go into now any of these prompts that we've given you, and again, 15 minutes before the meeting, right, dump in random notes and the AI will allow you to work that through in your mind. What do I really want to do? What do I really want to say? But you see how fast it is able to build and how much of your time you get back.
Bob, because I love this. And when I was in production, this would have taken me 3 days on a PowerPoint to come up with, of manually entering and fixing the background and da 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 da. And really the value was not me putting together a presentation. The value was the conversation, but I needed the presentation to get me to the conversation so that it said I look professional and I'm prepared and I know my stuff. That is what this value gives you. Bob, you used Gamma for this. On the other options, the other things, do you recommend Gamma for all of those things, or are there different AIs that you would recommend?
So we use them all and we like them all and they all have different things. One of the really cool things that came out this week, and I'll show you an example from OpenAI or ChatGPT, is their images have gotten fantastic. Basically, they said is right, there's no need again to hire a designer ever. And so I dropped in a similar prompt to our friend Chat, and it made again a similar presentation where
So
again,
Chat GPT can do it as well.
ChatGPT can do it well. What I liked on Chat is it immediately grabbed images off of HAR. It immediately grabbed all the data off of HAR. It went through and it put it together. Again, snapshot. Again, that's what we tried to give you in the prompt. Give it all the data. Let it bring everything in nationally. Let it bring everything in Houston so it's easy for you. But I think, again, they did a good job.
Oh, I like that graphic. The risk of staying at the wrong price. That's a beautiful
Yeah.
graphic.
Again, the thing that is fun about this for Gamma is just right, you can see it build slide by slide. You know, for Chat, it was crazy long. It took me like 4 minutes. So, right, instead of about 45 seconds, it took, 4 minutes. But again, it's the thing, strategic options, right? What do you do? Gives you an action plan. Some of these are really, really good. And then questions, right? Here's our goal. But again, it builds it for you. And that's why we tried to make the prompt as effective as possible to save you the most amount of time because it sucks in the data, it sucks in the output, it sucks in the framework of what you're able to do to add value rather than just say, oh, I'm an agent. I'm just going to wait for you to reduce your price and hope.
Right, because that is not a strategy, and that is a strategy that will make you stay up all night for the 6 months of that listing agreement, where you wake up at 2 a.m. going, God, I've got to talk to them again tomorrow, and they're going to want me to do more, and I can't do anymore. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
The
And so
answer
that,
is have a conversation.
yes. And again, by the way, as you probably see, is we love the AI tools. We really appreciate the feedback of what's helpful. We have two other events that are coming up. If you want help on any of this in person, or if you might need help getting this set up, Paige, do you want to talk about one that we've got on April
Yes,
30th?
Holly's. Some of you have been to this house when we were with Sandra Rathy. We're going back there because it's a great space to be able to sit and spread out for another public open house, a broker open house. But Bob will be there and with his computer. Bring your computer, and we are happy to walk you through or talk you through any of this in person. So that's option number one
Ooh.
on the 30th.
And let me just say, this is the thing we love. You're talking to anybody on our team, you go through. What is it that you are doing manually, again, just like the seller weekly update, that you wish was done for you? More than anything else, that is the feedback we love because then we will make, and again, this is a live website, and David will send it to you. We will give that to you as a dedicated prompt, and it will feed in what is our best the data, the market, the information, the Houston stuff, how we think about it, the frameworks, the tools. And all you have to do is click copy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Paige, the
second one option. So if you just want to continue to be with us all day on the 30th, from it says 5:30 to 7:30, but we'll actually be there starting at 3. Rise and Reel. It's just a chance for us to get together, spend some time in fellowship at Tequila's. So we'd love to see you. Feel free to bring a
either.
friend. Yeah, bring a friend for either. But if you've got questions and you want to work through any of this, those are the two options on the 30th where we'll be in person. So it's an easy chance for us to connect.
In addition, again, more than anything else, please send feedback on the items that would be most helpful. These are 8 that we rolled out that we could talk about today. We've rolled out about 40 additional tools over the last month. And so let us know what is most valuable for you because we know the more value you add to your clients through AI and tools, the more time you have to think and the more time you have to build relationships. And that is the job that AI can't do.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
So,
all right, we are 1 minute early. I mean, look at us. It's like AI made this presentation for you, Bob. Would that be possible?
shocking, like using AI to be able to save time.
All right,
Great.
guys. It's great to
Happy
see you this
Friday.
Friday morning. See you soon.